All right, so I got the stream started. Let's make sure that the camera's working. Okay, here we go. We are ready with another Masters of the Universe Origins unboxing. But this is a first for the channel, and this is something very exciting. Yes, my friends, people watching this, longtime viewers, I know will be excited about this as I am excited about it. We've got our very first figure from the new 2026 Masters of the Universe movie. And fittingly for this channel, I've got an Origins figure. Oh, yes. We got the Masters of the Universe 2026 movie Origins. He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. There he is in the vintage style, very much as if they made action figures of this movie in the 1980s, would have looked something like this, right? Look at the packaging. I love the packaging design here. We got the exploding rocks in the background, just like the 80s toy. We do have the new movie logo. We do have the new movie version of Castle Grayskull here in the background. And it's a great design. It's very, very nostalgic, but still very forward thinking, which is probably what this movie ought to have to it, because it does seem like it's going to be a very modern movie, but it does seem like it has like kind of a retro edge with a lot of the aesthetic and design and whatnot. I'm hoping it's going to be a fun 80s style action movie, like Scott Knightlick, Spectre Creative. He was doing a video where he was speculating that it was going to be a comedy, and maybe it will be a comedy. I don't know. But what I'm hoping for, actually, I forgot I was going to get something printed. So I'll keep talking while I go ahead and get this thing printed, because I can do this from my computer now. It's awesome. So let's see. We'll just open new project, or open. Yeah, because I was going to start printing out this head. So anyway, I told him in the comments what I was hoping for. No, I just want. Oh, what are we doing? I don't want to replace anything. I want to open this. Okay, well, whatever. So what I was hoping for with this movie was that it was going to be more of like a like I said, a throwback to those 80s kind of action movies. I was thinking about movies like Flash Gordon and Big Trouble in Little China, and even Raiders of the Lost Ark. I kind of feel like is a movie that, like, it's an action movie, but it's got like a sense of humor to it and a sense of fun, and like that's kind of what I would want out of a He-Man movie. I would want to have that kind of tone. I wouldn't want to see a deadly serious kind of He-Man movie. Like, I love the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, but I wouldn't want to see a Batman movie in that style. You know what I mean? Like taking itself 100% seriously. He-Man's got to be at least a little bit tongue-in-cheek, just a little bit. I mean, you've got characters in there named, Stinkor and Too Bad. Like, they obviously weren't taking it 100% serious when they were making it. It's got to have some humor to it. Al Davis is here and says, "Nice evening, Alan. Hope you're doing good." I'm doing just fine. I'm about to open up this action figure. I'm really excited about it. And says, Willow is another good example of the type of movie that I'm talking about. Exactly. See, you're getting what I'm laying down. You're getting what I'm talking about. So yeah, that would be that would be a kind of tone I would be going for with a He-Man movie. And it looks like to me that's the kind of tone that they are going for. Now, if you've been watching this channel for a while, you might have seen a little short I did where I talked about a custom figure that I made, which is this one. I already made, like, as soon as the trailer hit, Mega Custom X had up a set of parts that you could put together your own movie He-Man with. I already had the sword. He'd already done the sword a while back. And I've mentioned before, I love this power sword. I love the design they have in the movie. and I love his interpretation of it. And this is my favorite power sword to print out. This is absolutely my favorite power sword to print out. And let's see, where was I? I still got this thing I'm trying. Speaking of printing stuff out, did I not? Well, whatever. We'll just go ahead and do it now. It's not going to take too long, so forgive me if I'm a little distracted because I got this project that I'm working on, and I really want to go ahead and get this taken care of. So it's just going to take a couple of more seconds. So I'm kind of divided. My attention is kind of divided right now, but I do want to get this thing started with the print because I've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So. All right, so we can go ahead and print the plate. And I want to make sure that I have the right color filament on there, which is number 2. So I got a filament changer now. It's really nice. So make sure I got, going to print them out in black. How much more black can this be? And the answer is none. None more black. Al Davis says, what used to be called a family film, suitable for all tots to the elderly. Yes, exactly. And says the figure looks good. So thank you. So anyway, yeah, Mega Custom X designed these parts with the sword, and like pretty much the day the trailer came out, he already had this stuff ready with the breastplate and the trunks, that kind of gladiator kilt thing going on, and the head sculpt did an excellent likeness of the actor. Whose name I don't know how to pronounce, Nicholas Galitzine. Let's see if we can find a pronunciation for that. Pronunciation. I'd like to know how to say this guy's name since he's playing He-Man. So, let's see how to pronounce. I don't know. I don't want to do that. Where's the? Well, they should have like an audio on here where you can hear it pronounced. Oh, go back. I don't want to be here. Go. Just stupid pop-ups. I swear to God. I don't like mispronouncing people's names. I'm kind of particular about that. So I don't like this guy's YouTube videos because he'll talk about a much. Garden. Just say the name. Galitzine. Okay. All right. I don't like that guy's videos because he just babbles and just say the thing I want pronounced. Just say the thing I want pronounced. Okay. So Galitzine. That's apparently how that's said. But yeah. So and then I painted the head up myself and painted up the armor and put those parts on, and I just kept the regular He-Man boots. I didn't. Yeah. Al Davis says Galitzine. He already knew. So Bobby Wald says, sound like you were leveling up with that cheerful music while you were trying to pronounce the name. Yeah, like it does that little chirp thing. I don't have any control over. I don't know how to turn it off. Al Davis says he's English too. Yeah, that's right. He is. And I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about this guy. I'd never seen him in anything. And like I saw him in the trailer, and then I saw him in an interview in real life, and he had that British accent. And I'm like, oh, he's British. Okay. That means he's probably a good actor then. Most British actors are pretty good. Al Davis says, I've said a few times, I'm not a fan of George Lucas calling the OT Star Wars kids films. They weren't. They were family films, sci-fi, fantasy. The kids aspect was really the toy line. Well, I mean, like, he's entitled to look at it however he wants, I guess. But like, I kind of feel like just because something's a kids movie doesn't mean adults can't enjoy it. I enjoy plenty of kids movies. I mean, hell, I collect He-Man action figures. You got to realize that like I do watch the old He-Man cartoon occasionally, and I still enjoy that. Hell, I watched a couple of episodes of that yesterday, just when I was when I was just kind of looking around for something to watch. I'm like, I didn't have a whole lot of time to watch a whole lot of anything, so I'm like, I can watch an episode of like the old He-Man cartoon, and I watched the Dragon's Gift, because that's one that I always like to revisit from time to time. So yeah, but I kind of feel like George Lucas said that part of his part of his motivation for even making Star Wars in the first place was he wanted to give kids like a mythology that they could that like what he had with Flash Gordon, or like the old westerns or whatever. And Al Davis says, I thought that too. Old plinky plonky music was going on. But yeah, like if you read the first draft of the Star Wars screenplay, there's a lot of really adult stuff going on, and I don't think like George Lucas kind of like, he's like a revisionist history kind of guy a lot of the times. George Lucas is a myth maker, and the greatest myth that George Lucas created was George Lucas Myth Maker. So he would he'll say something like, "Oh, Star Wars was always supposed to be a kids movie." Well, at a certain point, you figured out Star Wars should be a kids movie, but whatever. Bobby Wald says, "I'm happy He-Man is now on Tubi, and I don't have to fiddle with the DVD player." Yeah, that's good. And like they had the 2000X cartoon on Amazon, and they got the Netflix cartoons on Netflix. There's all kinds of He-Man that you can be watching right now. And I don't know if New Adventures is New Adventures up anywhere. I think there's some YouTube. You can watch even some of the old He-Man cartoons on YouTube. So Al Davis says, "You're right. I'm glad Jabba the Whore got renamed." Oh man, somebody would pay for that too. All right. So yeah. So I already started opening it, but I forgot to show the artwork on the back. Here's the artwork on the back. Nice picture of He-Man in the movie costume. Definitely more buffed up than Nicholas Galitzine is in the film. Because like a lot of people complain he's too small. I think he's a dude who looks like he's in good shape. He's in good superhero shape. Like that's like a good build for a superhero. He can't realistically be built like this or like this. I don't think any human being. Arnold in his prime was not this big. It's like but it is an Origins figure, so he's gonna be a little more buff. It's just the nature of the beast. So Al Davis says that picture, his thighs are as wide as I am in full. Yes, exactly. Oh, New Adventures. Bobby Wald says that he believes that New Adventures is on Amazon Prime. Yeah, I tried to watch like an episode of New Adventures a while back, and I just could not get into it. Maybe one day I'll be able to watch it and get into it, but I've never been able to really get into it. Like I watched it when it was on the air, because back then you didn't have as many options on things to watch, so it was this or no He-Man at all, because I didn't know of any place that was rerunning the old show. And it's like, well, whatever. It's, I guess it is what it is. And but now, like I said, I can go back and watch the old Filmation on my phone. I have a little TV that I can carry around with me, and I can watch pretty much any He-Man anytime I want to. I can watch the Dolph Lundgren movie. I can watch the Netflix show, anything really, like whatever I want. Because the bio on the back says, He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. The champion of Grayskull battles Skeletor and his minions as he seeks to restore Eternia to its former glory. And it seems kind of like a general sort of bio of He-Man until you get to that last line. That's the thing that seems more movie specific to me. Anyway, let's go ahead and open them up. I do want to say I do really like the design of Castle Grayskull on the in the movie. It's not exactly what I would have done, but I still think it's really nice. It reminds me a lot of how, speaking of people's names, I don't know how to pronounce Mark Texeira. The mini comics that he drew, the castle looked kind of like that. So Bobby Wald says same, but I do like the Keldor appearance in the very beginning before he becomes Skeletor. Yeah, I like Keldor. I'm a fan of that concept. I know some people have problems with it, but I don't. So there was a rubber band holding the sword into the package, but it's really loose, so it just kind of came out like that. And I'm going to have some things to say about that sword. You already heard me say the rubber tabs are on his wrists are really loose too. At least that one is. This one seems like it's more sort of hooked over his bracer, so I don't know if that's gonna. I don't think that was even in all the way. Like, I don't think it was penetrated all through the plastic. And that seems to be the rubber tabs. He has some around his forearms and some around his ankles. We got them all out. So let's get He-Man out of the package. There we go. Okay. And here he is. That is our movie He-Man. So to compare him to the custom that I already did, with the stuff that I did and the stuff that Mega Custom X did when he designed this kit in the first place, it's kind of funny how, like, we solved a lot of the same problems the same way. And like the main thing that I notice is that they did the same thing that I did vis-a-vis He-Man's eyes. Is I wanted a true vintage look for this figure. Even though it was the new movie, I wanted it to look like an 80s toy. So I gave him just the plain black dot for the eye with the eyelash and the eyebrow. No whites to the eyes, no glint in the eyes, no little blue iris, nothing like that. Just plain black on black eyes. And lo and behold, Mattel did the same thing. They gave him that plain black eye. Remember, if you go back and you watch or go back and look at the original artwork that Mark Taylor did, it's got notes over there at the side that say there's no white to the eye. It's just a black dot with a black eyelash, and that there's no there's no iris, there's no white to the eye, anything like that. And you might say to yourself, well, they probably just did that to save money on paint, but there already was a white paint application for the teeth, which of course he mentions that in his notes. There should be a white application for the teeth and a black application for the eyes. No whites to the eyes. Specifically says no whites to the eyes. So that was an artistic choice. So when I was painting mine, I kept that as an homage. And apparently somebody at Mattel, whoever does the paint mastering for these, made the same decision, and I like that. I'm glad that they. It shows that somebody there is paying attention. Bobby Wald says, "Did you see the souvenir movie buckets of Skeletor's throne? And there's actually a Castle Grayskull where the main section is the popcorn bucket, the two towers are cups, and the top of the skull is a candy jar." Yeah, they've got like a ton of different popcorn buckets for that movie. Like I know like that's kind of the trend for movies these days, is to give everyone seems to have its own popcorn bucket, but that one's got so many. And then Al Davis says some of them are sure to hold once you're finished eating and drinking, balancing it on your lap. Yeah, and like honestly, I kind of feel like some of those are kind of just more designed just to be like a souvenir piece afterwards, and they more put effort into thinking about how like how to make it like a cool thing to sit on your shelf than to actually make it a functional piece of dining ware. I don't know what to call it, but but yeah, it's like it seems more designed for looking at rather than actually eating out of. And then Al Davis says, I struggle with some of my drawings and comic books for a Western. I'm doing no whites or glints in the eyes. And for a sci-fi, I'm doing more realistic eyes. Well, that's an interesting way to do it. Trough. That's the word I'm thinking of. Trough for food, says Al Davis. So So yeah, the sword fits very nicely in the back here. Now, Mega Customs X, when he designed his, the sword, I don't want to take the sword out of his hand because then I'll have to put the sword back into his hand. But I'll use the one from. It's easier to get the sword out of that hand, so I'll use Wondar's. His sword fits in there really well, you see, and but it's just kind of like a simple little strap, like Origins figures tend to have. Whereas this one actually has where like the sword is kind of pinched in there in between these two clamp things, and that's how it looks to be in the movie. So Mattel gets a little more accurate as far as that goes. I think that Mega Custom X also has a slightly better likeness of Nicholas Galitzine. Still trying to say his name correctly. I think his sculpt was just slightly better. They're both good, but I think his just looks a little more like the actor. And I'm not sure which of these is really more accurate because I'm not really familiar with the design yet. But I like his version of the armor, the power harness, better because it seems like the Mattel version is just a little bit too thick, just a little bit too wide as far as the strappy things go. Bong Donkey is here and says, "Did you dig Kevin Smith's He-Man?" Yes, I did. I actually really enjoyed that. Al Davis says, "Not after the first 15 minutes." Give it watch the rest of it. I feel bad for people who didn't watch past the first 6 episodes and decided they didn't like that show because then you wound up missing one of the best He-Man stories ever made. Honestly, the first part of it's kind of okay. It really gets good once Adam comes back, and it is the sort of thing where a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's a bait and switch. Tila's the main character of it." Well, she is for those first few episodes, but once Adam comes back, he's basically the main character again. And Tila still has a big part in there, and she might be the co-protagonist still from that point, but. Really, isn't that how He-Man ought to be? Tila should probably be one of the probably one of the most major characters in there. So did I paint the head myself? Yes, I painted this head myself. This is all me. I had to mix up the paint to match the Origins body, and then I used my personal favorite yellow to use on He-Man's hair. Again, I wanted this guy to look I wanted him to look like the actor. But I still want it to look like how they would have made a He-Man figure in the 80s. Really? Yes, really. It's the first part of it, the first 6 episodes of it are pretty good, and then the next 6 episodes are better, and then the last 6 episodes, Masters Universe Revolution, freaking awesome. I love Masters Universe Revolution. Bobby Wald says, "I had a hard time watching Skeletor and Evelyn make out. I have a hard time imagining how that even worked because Bro doesn't even have lips." I can kind of picture it at least with the Frank Langella version of Skeletor because he does have lips. They're lips that look like teeth, but he's got lips. It's how's Evelyn supposed to make out with that thing? It'd be like trying to make out with a toaster or a jar or something else that doesn't have a box. How's she doing that? She's not getting anything out of it. You're watching Revolution right now, says Bong Donkey. Well, good. Hope you're enjoying it because I certainly enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll go back and rewatch that every once in a while, and it's my advice to somebody who tried to watch those first 6 episodes and did not enjoy them is go back and give them another chance because I think you'll find, I suspect this is the case. That you may find that a lot of why you didn't like it in the first place was because of your expectations. And I don't think that's your fault. I'm not blaming you. I think that they marketed that show poorly. I've talked about this before, is that I think the big problem with how they marketed Masters Universe Revelation is they had that little trailer thing where it's just He-Man doing He-Man things. with I need a hero in the background, and like it's a really cool trailer, but it's not really representative of what that show is as a whole. As Bobby Wald said, like not after the first 15 minutes. Well, that's all stuff from the first episode. And I could tell it's all stuff from the first episode. And I'd heard rumors, like the Clownfish TV stuff, and even something Netflix had said officially, like really early on when the show was being developed, is it was going to be about Teela reforging the Power Sword, finding the two parts of the Power Sword and putting it back together. And I'm like, okay, interesting. And I think honestly, if they'd have marketed this show as being what it was, which is a Death of He-Man story. If this show was called The Death of He-Man, and they had a trailer that instead of being He-Man doing He-Man stuff, like it was a remake of Filmation, what if instead they had a trailer that said he's the universe's greatest champion, he's kept us safe for decades, but what happens when he's gone? And then the Death of He-Man. Like, market it like that. And I think then people would have maybe been intrigued, and then you're not really so surprised when He-Man dies in the first episode, because you're like, well, it's a show called The Death of He-Man. I guess does exactly what it says on the tin. Al Davis says the stream just got foxy and hot. Yeah, like me and my cardboard boxes. Now you know the real reason I keep them around. But you see what I'm talking about? It's just like. She's not getting anything out of that. So Al Davis says, so much better the way you put it there, dude. See, go and try to watch it again with that mindset, and I guarantee you're gonna. It might not be your favorite He-Man thing ever. Still, you might still have flaws with it or whatever. But I'm thinking probably what's going to happen is you're not going to have your expectations subverted. That's the way I'm looking at it. So anyway, getting way off track here. I'm sorry. But Bobby Wald says if they would have eased back on how dramatic Teela was being over Adams being human, I think that would help the story. Yeah, I kind of think that I agree with you. I do think that they made Teela a little too harsh, but I think the reason that they made Teela a little too harsh, what I suspect is the reason, is they wanted it to have that kind of contrast when she, started to be sweet Teela again. And, Teela's always been kind of fiery and feisty. So, your mileage may vary as far as that goes, but I kind of feel like they do a good job pulling her back once Adam is back and she starts to kind of soften back up again. I kind of feel like Teela in those early episodes, what you got to realize is that her motivation in those episodes is she's a Teela that doesn't want to be Teela anymore. So that's why she shaves the side of her head and she's wearing her, outfit with the pants and everything. She's basically like a palette swapped Cara Dune. Almost. And it's kind of funny because I was thinking about it later. I like the design of Cara Dune. I don't like the design of Teela in Revelation. Why is that? Because it's pretty much the same design. And I realized, well, one of them's a He-Man character and one of them's a Star Wars character. And while there is a lot of Star Wars influence in He-Man, I kind of feel like the aesthetic of it is got to have some of that barbarian influence to it. But then when I'm actually watching the show, I'm thinking to myself, well, she's a Teela that doesn't want to be Teela anymore. So she's trying her damnedest to not be Teela. And that's why you get into that. Al Davis says, a woman in trousers. Nope, not watching that now. Not watching it now. Yeah, she gets rid of him eventually, and she becomes a sorceress, and she's got her sorceress outfit, and that's really cool. And then she becomes the snake goddess Teela, and that's really cool. Wow. Well, once she's in her snake form, that's when things start to get real. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about this figure that I I need to talk about the figure. So, like I said, the sword does fit really nicely in the back there, and the way they did this kind of clasp type thing, it's very accurate to the design of the movie. It seems to stay in there pretty well, so that's good. He does have it looks like I mean, this breastplate is a separate piece, and it does come off, and it looks like there's like a kind of square tab here, like we're used to these in Origins, and it's not one big one in the middle. It's one that kind of tabs around to this side, and you can take it off. Let's go ahead and take it off so we can see that. And he does come apart like how Origins figures come apart, so we can take that off, and we can see underneath standard Origins Masters of the Universe torso. Let's go ahead and take it apart in the middle, and we can take off this gladiator kilt. And this is really nice. Look at this. Underneath, he's got the classic He-Man trunks, molded in brown with a silver painted belt. Doesn't that look cool? So if you're somebody who did not like the gladiator kilt, if you would rather the He-Man in the movie have the furry trunks, well, guess what? He's got the furry trunks. You can put the furry trunks back onto him. And if you want to have the furry belt, the furry boots, it's a Master Universe Origins figure. So you could take these boots, you could take 2000X He-Man boots off of him, and they're pretty much the same shade of brown. You can see they're almost exactly the same shade of brown, just off a little bit. But you can take those boots off and put them onto your movie He-Man figure. You can have him with the furry shorts and the furry boots, and still have him with the cool movie style of harness. Or, if you want something a little more classic, you can go with like the 2000X harness, which is, the same brown color. Like they did a lot of similarity. Like, I got the cartoon collection 2000X here so we can compare. They definitely took a lot of influence out of the design of the 2000X as far as that harness goes. And with a lot of things in this movie, actually. But especially that harness, that is a very 2000X looking harness. Now, they did go back to the old cross, but they kind of reshaped it so it's not quite as Iron Cross as it used to be, but it's still a recognizable He-Man cross. Al Davis says, sorry, I'll shut up for a bit. No, it's not your fault. Don't feel bad. It's all me. It's all me. I'm the one who gets distracted easily. Bobby Wald says the movie we really needed is a spinoff involving the storyline of Detective Lubick after he stayed on Eternia. Yeah, that would have been cool. I would have like a comic book or something. They could still do a comic book or something. That would be cool. And then Bobby Wald says, Principal Strickland, McFly, shutting up again. Hey, we all know I'm a big fan of Back to the Future, so I don't feel bad about that. And he does have the held aloft sword hand, so we can have him call on the power of Grayskull. And I'm going to leave the furry trunks off. I'm going to leave the gladiator kilt off for now and just leave him with the furry trunks because we're about to get into the articulation. I mean, technically we already did because we talked about this wrist. But there's the sword in his hand. And let's see here. I've got Keldor. So we'll have a look at his sword. It is slightly longer. Just as maybe like a little less than a quarter of an inch longer than the standard Masters of the Universe sword. Of course, it's much smaller than the Cartoon Collection 2000X sword, which is massive. Look at that. And Mega Custom X, the 3D printed version of that, it's quite a bit longer, almost half an inch longer, quite a bit wider. I gotta say that I do like Mega Custom X's version a little bit better because it does seem like it's a little more formidable. But the good news is, since it's a 3D print file, I can print as many as I want in whatever color I want. You already saw that I got the black one for Wondar, and I got a pink one that I printed out for Prince Adam. I got the gold one that I printed out for my Thunder Punch He-Man custom. Oh, some stuff's going to fall. It's just going to fall. Let the chips fall where they may, or the action figures, whatever. Got a gold one I printed out for the Thunder Punch He-Man custom. I'm obsessed with this thing. I just want to print it in every color I can. I just got some metallic purple filament, and you can bet I'm going to do more Skeletor swords in that filament. Al Davis says thinner shaft. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. Ooh la la. But yeah, I don't think that this sword is badly proportioned for this figure. I think it's a fine proportioned sword for the origin scale. But I do, like I said, I do like the larger one that Mega Custom X made us. So like now I got to know how well that this one fits into. Did I already do that? Did I already do that? Yeah. How well does that one fit in here? It fits in there pretty well. So I'm probably gonna print him another silver power sword in that style, and this will go into my parts bin. But it's not a bad power sword. If you buy this set, you're not going to be disappointed by that power sword. But me personally, yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I like the Mega Custom X version. So He-Man can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around the shoulders, and they raise up to the sides about that far. He-Man has a single joint of articulation at the elbow, which bends not quite 90 degrees, and that rotates all the way around. By the way, these bracers are molded to the forearms. I kind of hoped with them being as big and bulky as they were that maybe they were removable bracers. I thought that would have been nice, but they are molded to the forearm, unfortunately. Now, He-Man's wrists rotate all the way around. Both wrists rotate all the way around. But as I pointed out before, the right wrist has a vertical hinge to it, as I call it, the held aloft hand. So you can have him hold his sword aloft. And the left hand has a horizontal hinge. So unfortunately, the only weapon he comes with is the power sword. But I don't know if he uses any other weapons in the movie. I don't know if he uses an axe in the movie or uses a shield in the movie. So, but if you did want to give him an axe or a shield, there are some that, like the axe that came with the battle armor He-Man, I think would probably work well for this guy because it's silver. And I think the shield that came with the 2000X He-Man would work really well for this also. And the 2000X axe, if you're a big fan of that. But I prefer the more old school axe, personally. Al Davis says, would you use one of those gold and silver pens? Sharpie makes them now. Could work on the sword blades. Yeah, they probably could, but I don't really usually... when I 3D print weapons, I don't usually paint them for Masters of the Universe because the old Masters of the Universe weapons were all just one solid color. So I usually just leave them all one solid color. And then I just kind of print them out in whatever color that I want them in, because I've got so many different... There's so many different shades of filament. I can print them out however I want. It's great. But I have used some of those marker pens for other custom projects, and they do work really well. I'm a big fan of the Gundam markers that are made for the Gundam model kits to get into the grooves in the plates and the Gundam. I don't make Gundam models myself, but I did discover those marker pens for inking in those grooves, and I use those a lot of times for like really fine detail stuff. Bobby Wald says, I just realized Skeletor's Havoc staff in Revelations feels like it was copied from Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, where they had to return the ram's head to its owner to find the Cave of Wonders. Well, you never know. They might have they might have been influenced by that somewhat. Maybe it's even one of those things where like they didn't even realize they did it subconsciously. Or maybe they did it on purpose. There are a lot of nods to other things in there, like there's lines of dialogue that are from Star Wars that Mark Hamill has, and not just lines that Luke Skywalker says. He has lines like the Emperor, lines from the Emperor in there. And then the character that William Shatner plays, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but William Shatner is in the third part, and the character that he plays has some clever acknowledgement of certain lines from Star Trek. So yeah, we don't want to get too into that right now, though. So the Al Davis says it's the whip cracking wrist. Yeah, that is a good that is another good use for that. Now I want them to give Beastman this wrist. So yeah. Oh yeah, I was still talking about the articulation with this guy. So He-Man can rotate all the way around the waist, and I already pointed out that this is an Origins figure, so you can remove the head, you can remove the arms, you can split them apart at the waist, in between the torso and the trunks. You can pull these boots off of it. Technically, you can take the thighs off of it, but it's not something that's recommended in the instructions. He does come with those instructions, by the way, because it does have like a whole list of everything that is meant to be removable. I guess they don't want you to pull the try to get that where you can see it. I guess they don't want you to pull the thighs off of the pelvis, because they don't want the thighs to get loose, which that probably would if kids are just yanking it off like that. But if you use a hairdryer to soften it up, you can pull the thighs off fairly easily, and then you can do all kinds of part swaps. Bobby Walt says, also, Mark Hamill and Jared Leto are a Joker and a Skeletor. Yeah. I think most people would say Jared Leto is the worst Joker. Hopefully he won't be the worst Skeletor. But honestly, like with the Joker, I think him being the worst one isn't necessarily like a slam on him. It's just how good everybody else is. Like, at best, he's going to wind up being like a distant third to Alan Oppenheimer and Frank Langella, whatever order you want to put those two in. I kind of find it impossible I can't even think of how I would rank those two. But those are like my definitive Skeletors right there. Like, I guess Langella is my most serious Skeletor, the more sort of Shakespearean villain. The gets compared a lot to Doctor Doom or Darkseid, and Alan Oppenheimer is more the comic villain, like like that kind of. They're both great, and I kind of think like Mark Hamill's performance kind of was a good bridge between those two. He could get dark and serious when he needed to, and still get kind of goofy when he needed to. Mark Hamill did a good job. I think like if there was a problem with Mark Hamill as Skeletor, it's just that he sounds a little too much like the Joker. But what do you expect is going to happen when you hire Mark Hamill to play Skeletor? He's going to sound like the Joker. That's just the Joker sounds like Mark Hamill at this point. So that's just how that is. Al Davis says, in the final trailer, there's a tiny bit more of the voice, and I like it even more than before. Well, that's good. I didn't really have a problem with the voice, but I did think that he sounded kind of like Bane. I don't know if I'll have that reaction when I watch that movie, but like you don't even know how to use it, like that. You're afraid to use it, like whatever that line is. It does sound a lot like Bane in that line. So Bobby Wald says, what team up I want to see is the Muppets Waldorf and Statler with Skeletor just roasting everything. Al Davis says, I didn't recognize Hamill as Firelord Ozai in Avatar: The Last Airbender at first. Yeah, I still haven't seen that show. I've seen like a couple of episodes of it, but maybe one day I should invest some time in it and watch the whole darned thing. I'll probably talk to my friend Joe about that, because I know he's a big fan of it. See if, hey, you want to watch this with me? Because I find it's easier to watch stuff I haven't watched before if I'm watching it with somebody. And like I said, when I tried to watch it before, I was watching it with him, but I think it's one of those things where like I just was not in the mood for it at the time and couldn't get into it. And have you ever watched something where like you recognize that it's a good show, but you're just not feeling it? You know what I mean? Like despite it being a good show, you're just not feeling it. That was kind of me with Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I should give it another chance at one point. The funny thing is, we all wound up going out to see the M. Night Shyamalan movie of The Last Airbender. We all wound up going out to see that, and it was my friend Joe and a bunch of my other friends, and all of them were big fans of the show. And I, like I said, had mainly only seen a couple of episodes of the show. Wasn't really like a huge fan of it. I have respect for it, but like I said, it just wasn't anything that I'd gotten into at that time. And I'm watching the movie with them, and man, that was a bad movie. And we came out, and everybody was quiet. And I said to them, guys, I hate to be the one to say it, but I don't think that movie was very good. And they're like, oh, it was terrible. And I'm like, oh, thank God. All right. It's like, and then they just started unloading on the thing, and I didn't feel so bad after that because, like I said, I wasn't I hadn't really watched a whole lot of the show, not enough to know whether or not it was even a good adaptation. I was just coming at it from the angle of I didn't think it was a very good movie, let alone a very good adaptation of the show. And to find out like it's not a good adaptation of the show was a relief to me. Because like I was afraid it'd be the sort of thing where it's like, yeah, well, on the show it makes sense because blah blah blah. No, they just screwed everything up in the movie. I keep getting distracted from this articulation. We need to get back to this. All right. So the leg can kick up about that far, go back about that far. He can do the splits, no problem. He can't kick forward and backwards very far because he's got those thick Masters Universe thighs. That's to be expected. That's just the design of the figure. He's got a single joint of articulation at the knee that bends not quite 90 degrees, but almost. And then that rotates all the way around. And then he's got the boot cuts. The boot rotates all around. These are a new design of boots, like the movie. They took all the fur off of this guy, other than the furry trunks that are secret, that are hidden underneath. But he doesn't have his furry trunks in the movie, and he doesn't have furry boots in the movie. And I suspect the reason that they did that is because costumers working on movies these days, I think, don't like to use a lot of fur, because I think there's kind of a taboo against it now. And even in something like this, where like it's a fantasy project and the fur would make sense, like, and it doesn't even have to be like real fur. They don't have to use real fur. They could use faux fur. I think it's the sort of thing where like they're just not comfortable with it anymore. That's what I suspect is the reason. I haven't heard anybody say anything about it, but that's what I suspect is the reason. Al Davis says 13 guys prancing around to move a large patio slab of rock, slowly wobbling through the air. Slowly, it was fucking awful. Yeah, like that was another criticism they had, was like they were talking about, in the cartoon, in the show, where they're keeping these earthbenders in prison, they're keeping them in prison in the middle of the ocean in this completely metal thing that they built, this metal structure, so there's no earth around. And here they're just keeping him prisoner surrounded by earth. Doesn't make any sense. And see, that was another thing where I'm like, maybe it was like that on the cartoon. I don't know, because I haven't seen it, but I was relieved when my friends told me, oh no, they kept him prison on this big metal structure in the middle of the ocean. A way that it would make sense to keep somebody prisoner if they can, move dirt around with their mind. Yeah. It's like imprisoning me in a building made of nachos. I'm just gonna eat my way out. Come on, like Alan will never penetrate our wall made of buffalo wings. Yeah, watch me. Anyway. Oh yeah, it's a little more articulate because the foot can point down about that far, foot can point up about that far, and the foot can rotate all the way around. So that is all the articulation. I got that out of the way finally. So this is a great figure, and I'm really happy with it. One of the things I was hoping for with this movie is that we would get Origins style figures. And when the first figures were announced, you had the Kids Core line, and you had the Chronicles line. And I will be getting figures from movie figures from both of those lines. So don't worry about that. Those are on the way. Literally, in the case of some of them, because I have some pre-ordered from Amazon. I've got the 4-pack of the Kids Core figures with He-Man, Skeletor, Man-at-Arms, and Goatman. And I have the set pre-ordered with He-Man and the Sky Sled, because the Battle Ram / Sky Sled is my favorite Masters of the Universe vehicle. So I couldn't not buy that, you know what I mean? And got some more stuff on the way, a lot of cool stuff on the way. And I did, when I pre-ordered this one from Target, I also pre-ordered Spikor, but for whatever reason, he's shipping separately. So he'll be here probably in a few days, hopefully. Al Davis says, same pancake prison would never hold me. Exactly. Bobby Wald says, can't use real fur. Otherwise, in the credits, they can't have that little title. No animals were harmed in the making of this film, or green space tigers or Trollan wizards. Yeah, see, like if they used real fur, that would certainly be the case. But like I said, they could use faux fur, and I don't think that would be a problem. But I think it's something a little bigger than that. I think that they're just uncomfortable having furry aspects to characters' costumes at all. Like, even if they used faux fur, I think they just want to avoid using any kind of fur. I think they just don't want the question to even be brought up, if that makes any sense. Jose Membrane says, it sounds awesome. It does sound awesome. Like, it's a great figure. I'm pretty happy with it. And then Al Davis says, you'll need oven mitts for the Spike War review. Well, hopefully not. One thing that I did do differently on mine versus how it actually is in the movie and how they did theirs, as you can see, like, there's like a full breastplate on this guy, and the use of the leather straps kind of overlap over it and strap it to the rest of the harness. But with mine, I just painted in the shield because I wanted the shield to stand out a little bit more. And again, to me, that felt more sort of old school to me, but this is more movie accurate anyway. So I really like the design of He-Man that they came up with for the movie. I was really happy with it. Here recently, Battle Ram blog had been posting some earlier designs for earlier attempts at a Masters of the Universe movie where it's like this He-Man, where it's like he's this skinny little guy in like a full suit of armor, and you know, He-Man in like what looks kind of like a pirate outfit where he has a sword for a hand, and I'm like, these are freaking horrible. I'm really glad we got the design we wound up with, where he's still got kind of the crossed X chest harness. He's got the bracers. He's got the loincloth. He's got the boots. We don't need any pants. We don't need any shirt. He-Man is like a barbarian type of character. Jose Membrane asked, Alan, do you airbrush? No, that's a skill I have not picked up yet. But my mom has an old airbrush she wanted to give to me. I just, for whatever reason, haven't gotten it from her yet. Like, I go over there and I guess we both kind of forget about it. But it was a skill I was looking to try to pick one out. Al Davis says, yours has a better neck and haircut too. Yeah, like that one, I gotta say, is like that one that's all Mega Custom X. When he designed this piece, he was the one who they will have that kind of feathered sort of hair. I heard somebody the other day say it looked like Bo Duke, and I can totally see that. But Bo Duke's hair in the old Dukes of Hazzard show wasn't too different from what the He-Man action figure's hair was like anyway. So Al Davis says, always thought He-Man should have a hairy chest. Well, I mean, they could have used the chest from Beast Man, couldn't they? I mean, like, you know. So yeah, I don't know, like He-Man, I guess probably the reason that he's smooth is because, you know, it was inspired by the look at bodybuilders, and bodybuilders usually shave all their body hair off, so you can see the muscles they worked so hard at building up. So but yeah, they could have you know, you could easily, even with the vintage line, there's ways to take the figures apart. So you could swap it all out where like He-Man has the Zodak chest, and then you've got your hairy He-Man chest. Al Davis is like Wolverine or Henry Cavill. Yeah, see, like Henry Cavill, that's like one of the reasons I respect him a lot as Superman, is because he actually did the research. Bro actually read the comic books, and he refused to wax his chest because he was pointing at Superman comic books where he's like, no, Superman has a hairy chest. See? So I'm not getting rid of my chest hair. But specifically, I think it was the post-crisis, the John Byrne Superman, his had a hairy chest. And one of my favorite Superman stories of all time, probably my favorite Superman comic book story of all time, The Death of Superman, where his shirt gets all torn up. You can see his hairy chest in that. So Al Davis says, one of my best mates is a bodybuilder. Looks like Mr. Incredible. He's in shape. They shave to get symmetrical muscles, apparently. Well, there you go. Yeah, Death of Superman. See, like that's another thing with the Revelation, like I was talking about, is like Death of Superman is one of my favorite Superman stories, and Revelation is kind of like Death of He-Man. So it's kind of like, I kind of figured that was the thought process that Kevin Smith had when he was coming up with the story for it, because he'd already written an unused, unfortunately, Death of Superman screenplay back in the 90s. That would have been the project that eventually became the Nicolas Cage, the aborted Tim Burton Nicolas Cage Superman movie. That at one point has script by Kevin Smith, and it was based on Death of Superman. So he's familiar with that story. I kind of figure when he came onto it, he was probably kind of like, huh, He-Man's kind of like Superman. They're both that kind of lawful good kind of character. And I already wrote Death of Superman. Like, why don't I just do Death of He-Man? That would be a cool thing to do. So I suspect that's what happened. Bobby Wald says, they need what they need to do for the movie is when He-Man does that, I have the power, instead of pointing his power sword at Cringer, pointed at a Honda Odyssey and transformed it into battle tracks. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody wanted to try to do that. Like that would be a good branding thing, like a good little product placement. They love to do their product placement these days. Al Davis says, iconic cover with the flag and Lois cradling Superman with the ripped costume over his chest and the symbol. Yeah. And like that was just the beginning of that story too. The real story, the real story they wanted to tell wasn't just Superman fighting a giant monster and he dies. It was what happens after he dies. And Revelation was kind of like that too. Like they say it's a bait and switch because He-Man's not there, but the whole time they're talking about He-Man and Prince Adam and how the world is different without him in it. And yeah, Al Davis says, "Oh my God, that would be awesome." See, like that's what I'm talking about. So Bobby Wald says, I look just like Mr. Incredible 2, except for after the superheroes had to stop being heroes in the first movie. Yeah, I can relate. So anyway, this is a great figure, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're somebody like me who loves the Origins line, is collecting Origins. I do remember talking about in one of the Facebook groups is like after they had the Kids Core line reveal and the Chronicles reveal, I'd mentioned in there, I hope they do some Origins figures. And somebody said, why would they do that? And I'm like, because it would be awesome. Because I like Origins and I want more Origins figures and I want, an Origins version of the movie He-Man. And guess what? I got it. So to the dude on Facebook who thought he was being such a smart aleck, right back at you. I got my action figure. So, and what do you have? You have your bitter responses to questions and people's hopes and dreams. Al Davis says, Kenny Van Damme as well? Yeah. I did show that earlier. So yeah, you can do the splits, no problem. And by the way, this gladiator kilt is very flexible and can move around a lot. I oftentimes lament the fact that Skeletor, even with this one, which doesn't have a strap in the back, they could have very easily had the back look like the front, like they're supposed to. I oftentimes lament that they leave the little hanging straps off the back of the belt like it should have on Skeletor. Well, hey, they did it on He-Man here, so maybe I can just get one of these and paint it in purple. Or hell, I've got these I can 3D print. Just print one of those in purple, and there we go. So, and there's our two He-Men next to each other. Mine has a Held-Aloft sword, too. I never did bother to print out the bracers for this one because I couldn't figure out a good way to support it, but I think I could with my new 3D printer. So I think I'm probably going to print out some bracers for him eventually. We can pretend like one of these is the Filmation version of Faker. I don't know which one should be Faker, though. I'm not going to be presumptuous enough to say that it should be the one that I made. But also, I've got a little too much ego to say that it should be the one that Mattel made. Al Davis says, sorry, I might have been typing stupid shit. Would it really be an Alan Belk unboxing video if somebody wasn't typing some stupid shit? Like that's kind of what makes it what it is nowadays. So we're having fun here. We're having fun. And there might be somebody who comes on here. I've had it happen before where people come on in the comments afterwards and say, you spend too much time talking and not enough time showing the action figure. Oh, there's the action figure again, just for you. But yeah, that's just kind of like, I guess, the little community that I have built here, and we're growing. The channel's getting more subscribers slowly but surely. I've been talking about this thing for an hour, and he's a great figure, and I love him, and I can't wait to open up Spikor, and hopefully I'll be able to get the Trapjaw figure, which is sold out at the pre-order level on Walmart right now, but hopefully I'll be able to get one. Hopefully it'll be plentiful in the stores. It should be, since it's a movie figure. These are going to sell. These are going to sell really well. I'm hoping that kids these days see this movie and really enjoy it, and that it inspires the same kind of passion for these characters and their universe that it inspired within people of my generation. And maybe He-Man can be like just kind of an evergreen property that lasts forever and doesn't just depend on the nostalgia of Generation X. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the other fun YouTube stuff now below. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about Nicholas Galitzine. Galitzine. Am I saying that right? I'm trying to learn how to say that right. Dude's playing like one of my favorite superheroes, so I should learn how to say his name right. This version of He-Man in the Origins style, and if you're as happy as I am with how that turned out, if you made it all through this video, leave a comment and let me know what you think about specifically how Mattel was able to adapt the movie design into the Origins format. I definitely want to see more of these figures. I know they have Beastman is the other one that I had pre-ordered from the from the Mattel Creations website. So I know that there's He-Man, Spikor, Beastman, and Trapjaw, and I'm hoping to see more. Like, we got to get Skeletor in this style. How can you not have Skeletor, like the movie version of Skeletor, in the Origins style? That's something that's got to be made. We've got the 3D printers done doing 3D printer stuff. It's about to chirp at us again. So yeah, it's Galitzine. Yeah. So theater movie time. Yeah, I'm definitely going to the theater to see this one. There's no way I'm not going to. Like, I'm there. So really excited about the movie. Really excited about the figures. All these lines of figures. See, the 3D printer's excited about it. So anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.